Hello, this is Transfer Testimonials, and I am here with another new transfer today. Her name is Alexis Gregory, otherwise known as Lexi. Say hello.
Hi, guys.
So I'm just going to start this out, as I always do, with what is your favorite song, or what would be your walk-up song?
Oh, man. I wish I would have known that. I honestly don't know because I kind of like kind of sad or old country. Like, that's kind of my thing. So I don't know if I have a walk-up song, but
That's so funny.
Man, that is a really hard question. I kind of wish I came prepared for
You
that.
can think about it for 1 second.
I will think about
because
it, yeah.
I was in Spanish class today, okay? And for one of our assignments, we had to, dissect Bailando.
Okay.
You know, the, Spanish song.
Yeah.
And I think today I decided that might be my walk-up song because it's just, a
Really?
fun, energetic song, and I
Yeah.
could, totally find myself dancing to that. It's definitely not my, favorite song, but I could get hyped to that.
Yeah. I mean, if we're just talking, a walk-up song and not a favorite song, maybe, Walking on a Dream. Just because it's kind of, upbeat, and I've been kind of, I've been looking into that kind of music lately, so I'd say probably Walking on a Dream.
I love that. So, Lexi, tell me a little bit about where you transferred from, why you came to Mount Union, and maybe what year you are or when you transferred.
Okay, so I am a sophomore student. I'm majoring in exercise science. I originally was at Youngstown State University, and I actually grew up in Alliance, and I swore up and down I would not go to Mount. It was too close to home. I'm used to being independent, but I honestly had such a bad experience at YSU. I needed to move back closer to home. I had family going here, and obviously, my little brother, he's still in high school, and so I'm closer to him. My sister is now at YSU, but I kind of got a little bit behind in classes at Youngstown because my advisor didn't really put me in the right course load, which was unfortunate, but luckily for me, they're doing a really good job of, catching me up here, so that's making the transition a lot better.
The sibling thing was huge for me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, no one talks about how much, because I was 8 hours away.
Yeah.
So no one talks about how much you're going to miss your brother and sister, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I was so upset. My sister would call me crying because I wouldn't be home to do her homecoming hair and makeup because she was a freshman.
Yeah.
And I've always done hair and makeup for, everything. I did theater when I was in high school. And so not being able to, be there for her and not being able to go to my brother's first, high school soccer games and not being able to, just be there to be the big sister because my brother and sister always came down to my room to, sleep in my room.
Yeah.
And that was so difficult. I actually, after my sister called to, tell me that she was so upset that I wasn't going to be home to do her hair and makeup, I scheduled to drive home so I drove home on a Friday night. Showed up Saturday morning. I didn't even tell her that I was there. So I went and I drove and I got her Dunkin' and everything. And so Saturday morning, after I obviously slept there, I went into her room and I'm like, surprise, I'm here to do your hair and makeup and help you get ready. Oh yeah, she started sobbing. And then I drove home Sunday, but no one talks about how hard it is to leave your siblings.
Yeah, no, it's definitely difficult. And I have an older brother who goes to Grove City, so when he left, it left me and my other two siblings at home, and it was kind of we're getting used to him not being there, but when he came home, we were always super close again, nothing had changed. And now my sister is at Youngstown State, and so we kind of switched places, and so now I'm currently living at home, so I commute with my younger brother and my parents. So it's nice because me and him have gotten a lot closer. But yeah, so it's definitely a lot. It's a change, moving from on campus to living at home, but I'm enjoying it. So
good. And what's your major?
Exercise science.
Exercise science.
Yeah.
Was that your major at your previous school as well?
It was, but they kind of put me in the classes of a bio major, so I was super behind when I came here. So I'm kind of trying to make up my bachelor's degree in 3 years. Which is unfortunate, especially for the major.
So you'll be a fifth year senior?
No, I'm squeezing it in there. So,
okay, so you're gonna try and graduate on time.
Yeah,
I got you.
That's the plan.
Yeah, I got you. So are you an athlete on campus?
I was. I actually I stepped away from soccer about 3 weeks ago. So that was kind of a big change. And I talked to Christian Lopez about that, and he's been a huge help in that decision. But I've had knee issues that go along with a few other health issues that I have going on. And I feel in the long run, it was just better to take a step back. And I'll still always have those friendships and bonds that I made in soccer. But yeah, I just thought it best to take a step back.
Oh my gosh. Well, how long have you played soccer?
I've played soccer since U6, so I was probably like 5 years old when I started playing, and it's such like it's a heartbreaking thing to take a step back from. I think what makes it easier is the fact that I know that like the people at Mount, like they make it like you're not just cut off from the team. Like I had my talk with Coach Ash at the end of spring, and she was kind of like, don't be a stranger, like please show up, like please be a part of the team. And like it really helped because I was really upset about having to take a step back, not only from soccer but the people on the team. So
yeah. Absolutely. that has to be so hard. I think that, I mean, when you spend every day with people and you have such a routine when you're an athlete. I mean, I'm not a collegiate athlete, but I played sports. You know, I played soccer
in high school
growing up, and I played a year in high school, and I also stepped back from like volleyball in middle school. I had to step back because all the bones in my knees were bruised. Yeah. So like I know those goodbyes all too well are so difficult. I mean, is this episode about goodbyes or what?
I don't know.
So
I hope not.
Talk a little bit about like your health journey and what you're going through to kind of maybe come back?
Yeah, so I started having these medical episodes in November of 2021, I believe. They came on really sudden, and after about a year, almost a year and a half of like being in the hospital, talking to doctors, passing out like every day, they discovered that I had POTS, which is postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, and PNES, which is psychogenic non-epileptic seizures. And what these are is they're kind of like neurological conditions, and they make it hard for people with the condition to function on a day-to-day basis, whether it's because temperature changing. So if it's super hot, like I can't control my body temperature, so like always layering, like planning ahead. And then it's also just difficult because with sports, and this is honestly where the athletic trainers at Mount like really like stepped up and made me feel like I should be out there and that I don't need to take a step back because of that. Because you'll have these episodes and sometimes you like, it'll be like, oh, like I don't feel so good, like I'm going to take a step back. But other times it's like all of a sudden, and a lot of people, like they're scary. So they are seizures, but they're not epileptic. So they don't look how people would assume a seizure would look. So it's kind of hard to explain to people. But I think the biggest part is just like trying to help somebody understand, because the more they know, like the less likely they're to like work themselves up over it and feel like they could make an impact.
So when was the first time you experienced this?
It was November 9th of 2021.
Down
I was
to
actually
the date.
Yeah, that's one I will not ever forget, unfortunately. But I was at my high school. We had finished up soccer season. I was actually getting ready to start indoor track. So I was out on the track outside of our football field. And I did not feel good, so I walked over to our athletic trainer and I was like, hey, TK, I don't feel good. Is there anything that like we can do? He's like, yeah, like sit down, like we'll run some tests. Well, next thing I know, I am passed out on the gator, and I'm just like, and that was the first time I got an ambulance. So that was kind of terrifying. But yeah, from that day on, I passed out anywhere from like 1 to 3 or 4 times a day for the next couple of months, and then it started to slow down a little bit. They started giving me medication. But the weird thing about POTS and PNES is that you can't really treat it with medication. So a lot of times it made it worse. So I was in and out of the hospital for a while with different tests. But I mean, like in the end, like that's how you know like who your friends are and who like steps up and who doesn't start talking behind your back. Because like when you're not in school and you were just supposed to be starting track season, everyone's like, oh, awfully convenient. Which is unfortunate.
Oh my gosh, like you're in the hospital. Yeah. Convenient, isn't it?
Yeah. And so, I mean, that was definitely difficult, but like that's a big, like, it was a big life lesson for me, like definitely perseverance and trying to figure out who was a true friend in my life. So that was difficult, but.
And when did you transfer into Mount?
So I transferred after my first full year at Youngstown State. So this is my second semester at Mount Union.
Okay, so you kind of experienced transferring and this medical condition all at the same time?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. So you had a lot going on.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about like how stressful that was mentally? Or, I mean, honestly, if you were able to just relax through it all.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was definitely stressed out just because Youngstown State didn't really handle it well. Nobody was willing to really understand or sit down and have a conversation with me about it. And so it was really difficult to try and like get like what I needed to better myself across. But when I had my first visit here, I met with Christian right before I met with Coach Ash on the soccer team. And I expressed my concerns about being worried about how people on campus might handle the situation. And he assured me that like people would sit down with me, and I was kind of skeptical because they told me the same thing at YSU, but through experience, like they've sat down, they've listened, they've made compromises. All the professors are so incredibly understanding here, and that's hard to find, and it's usually a selling point for most schools, but a lot of the times it's not true.
Yeah.
So thankfully for me, it was true here, and so I feel like I've really found my place.
Absolutely. Well, that's great.
Yeah.
We're going to transition a little bit and talk a little bit more about, you said you're a commuter. So have you felt that you've maybe had any struggle with finding, like, socializing here? Because I know if you're not living on campus, you automatically don't have that dorm room and that roommate and that RA connection,
Yeah. So I feel like definitely, and it's weird to say, but one of the hardest parts there was probably everyone was like, hey, let's go to the caf. And I'm like, I got a home-cooked meal at home. Like, I'm going to go home, but you guys enjoy it. And so that was definitely a turning point in my life to, like, transition from living on campus at Youngstown and commuting here. But the most, like, I made so many friends in all my classes, and, like, I'm not the type of person to, like, reach out to other people. I'm kind of quiet and reserved until I'm comfortable. So it was super nice because the class sizes are a lot smaller, so people are more able to socialize without really interrupting class, because a lot of the times the professors will get involved in the like side discussions. So it's super nice because it's not all like it's not super serious, but at the same time like they get everything done and it's very productive. So yeah.
It's funny you mentioned, like, eating at the caf, because that was, something that, obviously, I lived 8 hours away. I'm going to be eating at the caf.
Yeah.
And so when I came home, one of the biggest things was, like, that I got to eat my mom's food. I mean, that was crazy. It sounds so silly. And that is something that I promise you, if you have never had to live away from home and eat cafeteria food for a long period of time, you're taking your mom's food for granted.
Oh, absolutely.
Or dad's food, whoever cooks in the family, whatever. Because when I came home, eating my mom's food was like my saving grace.
Yeah.
And so whenever I transferred him out, there was a kid and I'm so sorry, I do not remember his name, but he was in my transfer class, and he was from like New Jersey, and so he was 6 hours from home. And I told my mom about him because I'm like, yeah, it's totally like I know what he's going through.
Yeah.
Like, that sucks. I hope that I can be, a friend. And she was like, well, let him know that if he ever wants to come over to eat dinner, he's welcome. And so I actually made cookies that night, and I took him into class the next morning, and I'm like, and by the way, if anyone ever wants to come eat at my house, my mom said you're welcome.
That's so sweet.
It's so funny. Like, and he's like, oh, well, I might have to and he never did. I mean, he's an athlete. We have nothing in common, really. But it was the thought that counts. Yeah. And you really don't realize how much you take that for granted.
No, absolutely.
Until it's, like, real.
Yeah.
For sure. So so you obviously had to take a step back from soccer. Do you have any other kind of campus involvement?
So I was really just trying to take a step back, focus on my academics. And I also work 2 off-campus jobs as well as 1 on-campus job. Wow. So I kind of have a lot on my plate, but I just recently joined the transfer student organization. And within the first week of being in that group chat, like, they're already throwing out all these ideas on how they can, like, make a difference and everything. And, like seriously, I think I've been there a week and a half, and I've already feeling like, okay, like, this could be a very good thing for me.
Yeah.
So other than that, not really.
Yeah. So. I mean, well, can you talk a little bit about your jobs? Where do you work? So
I work at a small kind of family restaurant bar setting over in Hanoverton, kind of close to United High School, if anybody's familiar with that area. But then I also I coach at West Branch High School. I coach hurdlers
Coaching
and
is so
sprinters.
fun.
I know, and it's so exciting because I ran hurdles back when I was in high school, so not that long ago.
Yeah.
But it's nice because a lot of the coaching staff is completely the same, and a lot of the girls I ran with in high school, and so it's really just like the fact that I get to help them like continue on like what I started, like it's awesome. It's a great feeling.
Yes, I'm coaching, or I did coach this previous season, speech and debate at my high school.
Okay.
And my sister's on the team now, a few of the kids that I was on the team with. And it's so funny because I remember we were at an award ceremony one night, and one of the girls brings up something that I told her, like, way back when like I was competing, and she's like, "Can we tell Molly?" And I'm like, "No,
probably not.
Stays whenever we were friends.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm your coach now. We can't tell another underclassman."
Yeah.
And we're not going to talk about what it was, but just know it wasn't meant for students.
Yep.
It was meant for friends. But so like even the two of them, Morgan and Molly, they're a duo, so they were always like, "I feel like you're not even our coach because you're just like our friend." And I'm like, okay. But whenever Katie, my like head coach who coached me, whenever she hired me on, she was like, "I feel like you have the energy to like be a really good cheerleader, but also if you tell them to shut up, they will."
Yeah.
Like, okay.
That's like a good compliment though. Like I understand that. Yeah.
She's like, I mean, basically, like, you can be a cheerleader, but also they'll respect you.
Exactly.
Even though you're only 2 years older.
Yeah.
So coaching is so fun. It's such a good way to stay involved in the
It
community.
is such a good way. I know. It's I enjoy it so much because it's seriously like they'll come up to me and they're like, "Guess what happened at school today?" I'm like, "Tell me all about it. Let's go."
Oh my gosh, the craziest stories they come in with too. It's honestly makes my head hurt. But
glad I got out when I did.
They're funny. But what's your on-campus job?
So I ref intramural games at the MAC. So we just recently finished up basketball, and right now we're getting through soccer and cornhole. So that's interesting. But I'm pretty sure we're starting volleyball and pickleball up soon, so that'll be good. So
what do you want to do after you graduate?
So I would like to attend a grad school to be an athletic trainer. And now if you asked me 3 years ago, before I started everything with my medical condition, what I wanted to do, I would probably tell you that I wanted to go be an engineer or an architect or something like that.
Really?
Yeah, it was like a complete switch up. But that day on the track when like he was right there, and since then he has been like right by my side through this whole thing, like I've just always wanted to be that person for somebody. And so that really changed like my whole mindset on what I wanted to do the rest of my life, and I'm grateful for that because like I can see myself making a big impact. So yeah, like complete switch up. But yeah, I would like to go be an athletic trainer somewhere. I haven't really decided on either high school or like a collegiate level. I feel like high school I could reach like more kids like through more sports, but collegiate would definitely be like easier time management wise. So
yeah. Tell me a little bit about who has impacted your journey and your time at Mount the most.
Oh my goodness. I would say one huge one. She's my best friend. Her name's Brooke Britton. I can tell her anything, and it's like it's a no judgment. It's very much like Brooke, I'm having a bad day. I just need space. She's like, okay, like I'm gonna sit 2 feet away from you and be on my phone. Like that's all the space you're gonna get, and I love it because like friendships like that, they're really hard to come by. And just having someone that you can talk to anything about. And she's one of those people that are like really willing to sit down and hear my side of things before like jumping to conclusions. I feel like especially in today's day and age with social media, like that's really hard to find. So she's definitely been a huge impact. She's also a student coach on the soccer team. Oh, so cool. I was injured when I came to Mount straight off the bat. So I was on the sidelines a lot. And she was right there by my side, and it made it a lot more enjoyable. So I'm definitely very appreciative of her.
That's good. That's great. Well, do you have any advice for any other transfers or any new students coming into Mount?
I would say reach out to people. Like, make those connections that you don't think are going to be useful. I kind of brushed transfer student organization off, and I really wish that I had not done that. Like, that is one regret that I do have, because I could have helped so many more people if I would have joined like a semester earlier or like even a couple of weeks earlier. Like, you guys have all this fun stuff going on all the time. Like, I feel like I could have made an impact. But try to stay involved. Like, try to get out of your dorm room. Like, obviously, like, you've experienced college before if you're a transfer student, so try to make this experience a lot better than your last school.
Absolutely.
But yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being here today.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I do just want to give a shout out. Thank you to Raider Student Media for letting us use their equipment. And with that, transfers rule the school on 3.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Transfers rule the school.